So hi everybody, welcome to today's design session. My name is Emisho Victor, and I'll be taking you through today's design session. So basically, what we're going to try to do is to try to like explore layouts, like interesting design layouts, and how to use grids to create them. Because recently, I've been trying to like learn how to use like grids in my design, because most designs these days like they try to explore like interesting layout and all those stuff, but basically the way you have to like how you get to that stage of trying to like create interesting layouts with your website designs or with your designs generally, not just websites, even poster flyer design, because the original idea was actually from poster designs, but web designs these days trying to like integrate that sort of creativity into their what's it called into their web design. So basically, where I started from really was finding this particular site called where is it again? Yeah, grids.obese.agency. So I'm going to be sharing it in the chat so you can go through it yourself and see what it's all about and also learn about the grid. So from coming across this website, this is where I was like, you know what, let me try and start exploring this whole idea of like using grids, like interesting grids. I mean, before I used to use grids, I typically use grids, but like I have never used them to this level of what's it called, to this level of should I say formality? It means that word formality. So this is where I really started exploring. Okay, how do I try to implement it to my design? Because typically before I only like reserved using grids in my what do you call it, in my poster designs, flyer poster designs. So that's where I really to explore. But then these days I try to like integrate it even in web design. So basically, all the way the content is structured on your website is actually like laid out on grids. If you were in my last session, I showed how to like use like what's it called, column grids. I showed how to use column grids where you turn on columns option in Figma, and then you try to like use it to like lay out your content. But for today, for this particular design, I try to explore using rectangular grids instead of column grids. I try to use like typical grids instead of column grids. So I'm going to show how it's all done. I'm also going to like share how I use it in my own design process. So let me hide this thing. It's basically, like I said, it was all like from this website grids.obese.agency. I'm going to share it in chat now in case you need a link to it. So let me drop it in the chat. So just check it out in your spare time, or just keep it somewhere. Basically, I have it bookmarked, so I have it bookmarked here. So there's tons of it's this like research website by this particular agency, obese.agency. Like it's a design obese agency is a design agency. So they are doing these explorations where they try to teach like designers about grades, about typography and everything. So you can see this website is a part of obese educational projects. This time we're showing the principle of grades using grades. So there's also typography principles. So it's also by this same website. There this same obese agency as well. So I'm going to drop it in the chat as well, so you can go through if you want to like learn how to improve your typography, also learn how to improve your grid usage. There's still on that third one which I can't remember, but then once you go through the site, you're going to like find all their educational projects. So if you scroll through the site, you see how they let me turn on the grids they're using. So you can see that I don't know if you can see from your end of the screen, but they're like this what's it called, this columns on the that's showing on the web. I turned on the grids so you can see the columns that the website is using to lay out its content. So these are the grids that this website is currently using to lay out its content. So like I said, not everything has to like sit flush with the grid, but then the basic elements, like the key elements, should actually like sit sit perfectly on the grid, and it's just going to like help you with overall yeah. So you can see that on this particular in this particular grid that they're using, you can see that this the content starts from like the from this side, like it's laid out on the grid. It doesn't have to touch the edge because this is text. It doesn't necessarily have to like, you don't have to force it to like touch end to end, but as long as it's spanning from this place to this place, that's totally fine. Ideally, I feel like the entire text is actually ending here. The entire text is ending here, but then because the content does not span to this extent, that's why you don't see it touch this place. So it doesn't have to like touch it exactly, except you actually want it to touch. That's why you might can force it to touch the grid or something. But basically, the key elements should just like rest on the columns on the grid. If you can see this line, so this black line, it's also resting, starting from one of the grids, one of the columns, as well. Also this one as well. Also this other ones as well. So like that. That's how these guys are like using the grid in their own design. So if you just go through it, you're just going to like learn how to use the grid. You're going to learn different kind of grid. You're going to learn about what do you call that thing again? About rectangular grids, about Van de Graaff field, grids, and column grids, and also other kind of grids as well. So there's tons of them. Just go through and you're going to learn about them. So let's just quickly start the actual design itself. So to even start using the grid I'm going to be using here, there's tons of there's column grids, there's fan graph, there's also rectangular. So I'm going to be using this rectangular for today's design and see how it goes. So I'm just going to show. If you go through, you're going to like understand it, but like I'm going to show from my own end how I actually apply. So if you look at design, typically design starts how it ends. Yeah, I don't think anybody's design starts how it ends. So this was initially how I started the exploration, and then from there I went to here, and then from here, and then added more color, and then the entire thing just like kept cascading down like that. So with each step, the design process is never, I don't think any designer's design process is ever like linear. You don't just go to design and then you just design one thing, and then you choose go ahead with that particular thing you just designed at first. You always have to like iterate on a particular design to achieve what you want at what you want eventually. So to start with, let me just let me just create like a new page. Okay. Start with, I'm just going to like add my frame. So again, 14. Typically, let me just add the desktop grid so not to confuse. I'm going to add the desktop grid, which is 1440 by 1024. But then I want mine to be like 16 by 9 aspect ratio. So I'm just going to reduce the height from 1024 to 810. I talk about this thing every single time, but no problemo. Let's carry on. So 1440, my desktop frame is 1440 by 810 because I want it to be 16 by 9 aspect ratio. So that's by the way side. So another thing I want to do now is like to set up my grid system. So to set up my grid system, I'm just going to click on my frame and then come to this place where it says layout grid and press plus. So if you press plus, it's just going to like add a grid by default. If you can see it, there's like these lines, pink lines that show like across the design. These are the grids that have been added. This is rectangular grid. This is what they call rectangular grid. So by default it's called grid. So you just go here, and by default the size is 10. It's 10. So the 10 it's the box are 10. Sorry, Babatunde, please mute your mic, please. Sorry. If you have any questions, please just wait till after the session. You have time to ask. Okay. Sorry, Babatunde, please mute your mic. I'm trying to mute it. It doesn't seem to work. Please. There's a different moment. Okay, okay, thank you very much. Okay, so basically the typical grid, the boxes here are going to be 10 10 10 10 10 10. So you're just going to like put boxes of 10 10 10 10 across the design. So what you want to do is to change it from 10 to 60. You can basically use any size you want, but me personally I just want to go with 60. That's why I'm actually setting mine to 60. You can go with here, depending on the layout you want to achieve, you can go with any kind of any kind of number. So but me, I'm going with 60 because 60 is also on that 4 pixel grid. It also rests on the 4 pixel grid. So I want to use that for my design as well. If you don't know about the 4 pixel grid, you can probably just go and Google it and try to like find articles on it. But I don't want to delve too deep into that today. So I'm just going to set my size to 60. So you can see that the boxes are bigger now, and like it's giving me what the boxes now are 60 in size. So that's what the whole grid thing's about. So that's all you need to set for this particular thing, and then you can go ahead to start designing. So what I'm going to do next is to like figure out the key ones. So the key ones are the ones at the center, the one in the center, the one and the one for the margins as well. So what I want to do just to help me is to first of all I want to change the grid color of the grids to something different, because if I add rulers it's not going to show. So I'm going to change the colors of the grids to let's say blue, so we can differentiate blue. Should we do green? Let's do green. And then I'm going to increase the opacity. Okay, I'm going to increase the opacity to let's say something like 50. 50 is too much. 20, just so you can see from the end. Okay, let's do blue then. Yeah, so I have my grids set up like this. What I want to do next, I want to drag like ruler just to help me define the key one. So I'm going to drag a ruler here to define like this first one, which is the margin. So I'm going to drag a ruler here. So be sure to zoom in, because all this, like if you are not zooming in to make sure that your things are pixel perfect, I don't like. There's really no point using the grid in the first place, because the point of the grid is to like make you pixel, like make your designs pixel perfect. So if you're not zooming in to make sure that everything is like properly aligned, there's really no point like using the grid in the first place. So just drag this for to the other end as well. Okay, and then one for the center, so I can know which is center. So for the center part, what I want to do, because I don't think the grid is going to like really be perfectly aligned, the lines are going to be like perfectly in the center of the shape. So what I'm going to do is to draw a rectangle. That's the entire width, that's the same width as the original frame, which is 1440. So 1440, and then I'll press on this width, I'll just come here and press divide by 2, so I can get the exact center. Okay, yeah, this is the grid or the exact center that I want to mark. So I'm going to drag the ruler to mark it as well. Okay, so I want to also like mark one for the top, I think. So zoom in and make sure that the line is also perfectly flush with the grid as well. Okay, and another thing I want to do is to mark the one in the central, in the vertical, the vertical middle. So I'm going to like drag the rectangle, make the rectangle like full height, and then press divided by 2, just so I can get the one. So divided by 2, you can see that it's not perfectly flush with the grid. So I am just going to like I'm just going to mark the line that's nearest to this particular rectangle. So what I'm going to do is just drag it to this particular grid line here. So yeah, that's basically what I want to do for this particular. So like this, I have my key areas mapped out. If I want to design, I would have it like a sense that, okay, you know what, these are the key areas I should focus on for my design. This place, this quadrant here, this one, and also this quadrant here as well. So that's what I'm going to like focus on for my design. So what I want to do first is to like start dropping content across my design. So yeah, the first thing I want to do is to grab a text. So typography, like I said, typography is like, it's not just for you to use grid. If you use grid to actually like learning how to like use good typography, it's really not going to come out really well. So what you need to do is to also like learn how to use typography. So this typography thing will give you some insight. If you also want to learn more about it, also try to like do more research. There's tons of articles on Medium that you can find typography articles, or how to best use typography. You will learn about kerning, about multicode, vertical, that thing called again, line heights, line width, and blah blah blah. So let's ignore that for now and just jump into the typography, the text, the font I'm going to be using. So fonts, typography, I don't really have I call everything font. So I was just going to like write something creative. Creative. Okay, I think I want us to get to the animation part today. So I'll be really fast with the design aspect. So creative. So what I want to write is creative front-end developer, or creative. Let's do front-end developer. I just like the look of 3 lines. I want to do creative designer, but then I'm doing developer because I want to like have this interesting layout. I have this interesting layout in mind. So creative developer. Okay. So I have creative front-end developer region. I'm breaking them apart because what I'm trying to achieve is actually like these 3 lines of text. So you can see creative front-end developer. So what I want to do is separate them. So I want to also like put a dash here. So front-end developer. So what I want to do now is to change the typeface here. Typeface to from from New Montreal to Anton. So Anton is a default font. It's on Figma by default. So if you just check, you'll see it. Anton. Anton, it's there. You don't need to download anything. Just open Figma, type Anton there, you find it. So the multicode. Also, another thing I want to mention is that I am currently trimming the vertical trim. So vertical trim means that I'm taking away, if by default, if you type anything in Figma, you always have like all this extra spacing at the top and bottom that doesn't like really wrap around the text, and it's just like giving you like extra breathing room for the text. But then people, I don't want them. So what I'm going to do is like mark all of them. By default, if you add it, it's going to have all those extra. So what you want to do is to make sure that I'm only doing this particular step for display text. Display text are text that are meant to be big. They're meant to be really big. I don't want the extra spacing, so I want to take it out of it. So I want to mark all the text and then go to this option here. So I think where you really see it, if I were to increase the text size. So I'm going to blow up the text size to 120. Okay, and then let's do auto layout just to group. Okay, so I've marked all the text. So if you're to see, you can see that there's extra spacing, extra padding at the bottom and at the top as well. I don't want that, so I'm going to just mark all of them. There's an option of Figma that allows you to take it out. So just mark all of them and then go to this option here that says vertical trim. So vertical trim just takes out all the extra spacing. So like this now, you can see that the text no longer has the spacing. The what's it called, text box is like perfectly flush with the text itself. So that's what vertical trim means typically. So creative front developer, I'm just going to like have it somewhere here. So like let's just have it somewhere first. Let's just create all the text and start having things everywhere. Folks are having things everywhere. So the next thing I'm going to do is to like create the body text. So the body text, I'm just going to like drop text here and then change my body from the size to 16. So 16. The line height. Okay, let me not do line height first, so you can get the hang of what line height it really does. Or two. Okay, and then I'm going to like change the text. Okay, let's just type something. Type in anything first, and then I'm going to use what's it called? I'm going to use lorem ipsum. I don't really have time, so let me just use lorem ipsum to drop text into this thing. Lorem ipsum to drop some text into my design. Okay, so I'm selecting a text layer now, and I'm going to just drop like one paragraph. Let's see, one paragraph. So it's really long, so I'm just going to tame it by shrinking the text. I have not specified the size right now, but I'll come back to that. So I'm just going to shrink it like this. So this is good. Well, let's do 2 paragraphs in case we need some extra. No, 1 paragraph is fine. So that's plugin is called Lorem Ipsum plugin. You can just like use it to like generate text. So I am going to change the text now, the typeface from Anton to New Montreal. New Montreal is a what's it called? It's not free function, but then there's a trial version you can get on what's it called, on Panagram. So let me share it again. New Montreal font. So I'm going to share the link so you can easily download it. Okay, so just come here, go to try it for free, and then download. You can easily download it, present your email. So I'm going to paste it in chat so you can find it at your own convenience. Okay, so it's there. So I'm going to use it by default on Figma. If you install it, it's going to like show PP in front of it. So if you want to look for it, there's PP at the front. Just type PP on this thing, you're going to see it. PP New Montreal, PP editorial. So any font you download from Panagram, it always comes with that PP in front of it in case you're looking for the font after installation. So PP New Montreal. So you're going to see how it's already been added to the design. So one thing I want to tamper with is, first of all, I want to tamper with the, by default, if you add create a text, it's going to be line height, which is this one, is going to be like auto, and then even the letter space is going to be auto as well. But me personally, 0, I think it's 0 by default. I don't really know. I think it's 0 or 2. I don't know. But whatever it comes by default, I personally like going back into like adjust it just so it looks better, because by default some fonts don't really have really good line spacing or line height or everything. So I personally like going into like adjust it and until it looks like tighter and everything. But this one, I personally feel like it looks too vertically tight together. So I'm going to like adjust it to the line height to 120%. So you can type percentage, whatever it's there. If it's auto that's there, you can type it 120% instead of there. So 120% is like this. Let's do 140%. So I think 140% gives the text more room to breathe. So I'm just going to like go with this. I'm not really going to like sweat it too much about what's it called, which one looks best and whatnot. So 140% is what I use for 16 pixel fonts by default. I use 140%. So that is done, and I'm going to start putting things together. So the next thing I want to start doing is start placing them properly. Okay, let's create the what's it called, the button first. So I've like duplicated text, and I want to like use one as the font as this thing get started. So get started, I'm going to trim it down. Where is that option? So there's option here, auto width. So yeah, get started, create my button. Anyhow you can create a button, create it. So I'm going to like just make it fixed height. I think, let me see that particular button I use here. Okay, 64 pixel for the height, 64 centralized, and then for the width, let's do 32, and then let me give you like a feel of black. So I'm going to be adjusting the colors in a moment, but for now I'm just like going with the default colors that's giving. So black, and then make it fully rounded. No, fully rounded. Yep, that's cool. So yeah, this is done like this, and I'm just going to like start adjusting start chunking things together. So this is what's called chunking design. Chunking things being like putting things that are related to each other closer to what's called together. So I'm just going to like select these two, the text and the button, and auto layout them. You can use, if you don't are not familiar with auto layout, you can use normal, what's it called, normal grouping or whatever you want to use. So let's the spacing, let's do 24, I guess. Let's see what that spacing is. Don't want to like spend too much time here. 24 here. So 24 just looks good. Just looks convenient. So yeah, that's done. And now I want to start like what's it called, placing my stuff. So I'm going to first of all move everything so you can see how I'm placing stuff properly. So for this one, ideally this is supposed to be like one body of text, creative front developer, like supposed to be one straight text. But then I'm not doing like that because I actually want to, there's stuff I want to do with the design. So I want to first of all align this one to, let's see, where did I align this one again, just so I am creating. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to be using bottom alignments and probably going to align this one to like the to make sure it's falling, like resting on the, it's called baseline grid. So I'm going to make sure it's going to be aligning with this particular grid here. So aligning it with this particular grid here. Okay, make sure it's flush. Like I said, zoom in to make sure it's like you are what's it called, being very you're being very thorough. And because there's no point I what's it called, creating the grid if you're not going to like use it and make sure the elements actually sit perfectly on the grid. So I'm going to align the other one to the next one, not the next one per se, but I'm going to like give some space. So I'm jumping one and using the other one, and also the last one I'm going to like move it. Okay, the lower should come from 14. So I'm just going to like align this one as well. Okay, and align it perfectly with the margin. Cool. So creative developer front end, I'm just going to switch. Yep. So everything that is perfectly resting on grids. If this were one text, I would adjust. If this were like what was one straight text, I would adjust the the line height to make sure that everything is sitting perfectly on all the lines are sitting perfectly on the grids. But for now, this works. So like this, I'm going to like chunk them together. So chunking, remember chunking. So I'm going to auto them. So like this, they are one group together. But one thing I want to do first. Should I do it now? Let's not do it now. Let's not bother for now. So I'm going to like chunk them together and then move this one back in. So this one, where I'm going to align this one to, okay, I think this line is getting too much. I want to tame it because ideally this line should not really be too much. Let's do like 4 lines is fine. 4 lines is fine. Yep. So this just gives like a brief intro as to what I do as a developer. So I'm going to for this one I'm going to like align it. I'm going to like stagger the text, and I'm going to call it staggering the layer. I'm not going to stagger the layers rather. So instead of aligning it like this to just align with the edge to like have the same edge, I'm going to like move it, like leave one grid space and move it like forward a bit, just to like have this staggered text effect. So that's what I'm going to do here and leave it here. But this one I'm going to be aligning it to I'm going to align this. Where am I going to align it? Here, let's just align to the top of the grid instead of to the bottom, like we've been doing before. So align to the top of this grid. So it starts from here. So it doesn't really matter if the text does not really fall on the grid. Not everything is supposed to perfectly fall on the grid. Not everything is supposed to perfectly fall on the grid, and that's okay. So the next thing I want to do is that I want to actually stretch it to make sure that it's touching it's touching this the center. So it's stretching all the way to the center. I'm also going to like make sure the text stretches as well. So fill content rather. So you can see that the text runs from here down to the middle, and that's basically what I want to. That's the kind of effect I want to achieve. Ideally, this is also supposed to run that way. So I'm going to like stretch the grid. Let's do fixed width. Okay. And I'm going to also stretch it just in case I need to like add stuff. So you're going to see like what I'm stretching in a moment. So this one now, I want to like make the layout more interesting. So what I want to do is to add like this. For this, let me show this how it is in this design. So if you can see like this, there's this image here, and it's changing. So ideally this is meant to like be like some projects are just supposed to be like changing. So we're going to create these elements in a moment, but let's create like a placeholder for it first. So what I want to do is to, like I said, you can use groups. So I'm just using auto layout because I'm familiar with it, and again I like the convenience of using auto layout. So I'm just going to like add like this, and then I'm going to like draw a 16:9 box. So 16:9 box means me personally I like that 16:9 aspect ratio, so it just looks good. So I'm going to start with the width, make the width 16, make the height 9. That's what I mean by 16:9 aspect ratio. And then because it's going to be small by default, I'm just going to like stretch it, like constrain the properties, make it like lock the aspect ratio, and then I'm going to like just make it grow. Or you can from here just press times whatever. I want to scale it by times, let's do times 10, I guess. So yeah, I think something like this is okay, but we're going to cut it. Let's make it under color instead. let's make it red so it's more obvious. Make it red, and then I'm going to like drop it inside of here. So by default it's going to be like in front. This is auto layout. So I'm also going to stretch it just to I want to make it the same height, like the same height as the text, because for me it just feels like more balanced that way. So I'm also like just going to like hold shift and then just drag so that it grows like symmetrically, and you can see that now it's the same height as the text as well, like it has the same area as text. So I'm just going to move to the back. So it's just I'm just like creating like this staggered typography, this staggered text effect, so it has like just this interesting what's it called, interesting, yeah, not everything should sit perfectly flush, and that's totally fine. If you see this particular design, where is this design again? See this design here, I think this one does it. Yeah, this one does it with something else, but you can see how that text is what's it called, staggered. And let me see if I can find any other staggered example of staggered text here. You can find, so you can see that this text doesn't start exactly from here. It just starts from here, and then it just like has some sort of interesting factor to it. I can't explain it, but then it looks interesting. It feels interesting. So that's what I'm trying to create here. So let's have this like this, and yeah, I think we have something to work with. We have a layout to work with. Also, what I'm going to do is to like me, like, don't take this lecture, this lesson I'm doing as like what your one stop for all knowledge about grid. I'm still learning about it too. So basically, I'm still going to like whatever I'm seeing may not be like the way it's supposed to be done. But I don't really think that with grids there's a way it's supposed to be done. As long as you like follow the base rules, you're allowed to still break the grid. You're allowed to break the grid a lot. So I'm going to do this. I feel the spacing between this text and the this element is too much. They don't feel connected. They're not chunked together. So I'm going to like move it a bit. However, I want to also align maybe like the second line. I want to align the text, some part of the text to like the grid. So I'm going to like try to align the second line to the grid. So you can see that the second line is aligned. It's sitting perfectly flush on this particular grid here, which I was initially using as the division. So I feel like this is better. I just like this better. This one, this layer better. So the distance is 27. That's totally fine. Me by default, I would have like wanted to be like 24 or so, because I like the whole 4 pixel grid thing, 4 pixel grid spacing. But for now, let's just leave it like that. So what I want to do next is to check the spacing between these two texts. So 17. I'm also going to make one 17 as well, just so like there's this harmonious spacing flowing through the entire design. So 17 across board. So that has been done. What I want to do next is to now create. Don't mind if the text is running out of the space. It's totally fine. Like I said, you're allowed to break the grid sometimes. As long as you're following the base rules, the design is still going to come out well. So what I'm going to do is now have my text, my image here. By default, I want to have this image. So I want it to sit perfectly on the grid. I'm going to use the grid as my guide. So I'm just going to draw it like I'm going to like exempt 2 from this quadrant here, or from this whatever the word is, from this part of the design. I'm going to exempt like 2 grids just to allow for enough spacing in case I don't want to like run like this so that the image is not entering into the text. However, the image could actually enter into the text and it could like be some like interesting layout. Like I said, you're allowed to break the grid. If you know how to use the grid, you're allowed to break it. This can actually like be an interesting layout. I can actually choose to go this direction if I wanted to, but for the sake of design, let's not go too crazy. So I'm going to like just instead of leaving like this, I'm going to like leave two grid sections away, just so there's enough spacing. And yeah, I think this is fine. I'm going to add the image here by default, but for my initial design, you can see like I played with lots of layouts. I had this one first, and then I had this one next, and then I just like so you're allowed to like play around with whatever you want to achieve. Well, let's go with this first. So I'm going to be drawing, like, leave this rectangle here, but then I'm going to frame it because I want it to be a frame. Should I use a frame or a rectangle on the frame, or so let's use the frame. So I'm going to frame it. Control alternate G, or Control Option G if you're using a Mac. So Control alternate G just to frame it. So now that's done, I can make the frame color, make it red. Let's make it red so it stands out. So this is like the basic layout I'm trying to get out of the way before I start putting things together. So you have this. Let's turn off grids and see. So turn off grids. You can press Shift G. Shift G is going to turn off all that grid in the background. I think which other shortcut is turn off ruler. So turn off ruler, I think Shift R. Yes, Shift R. So you can see the layout now. It looks clean. It looks very, very clean because I've actually I followed the grid to like layout content. So it looks really, really clean. And this is the kind of design I want to have. So I'm going to turn on my grids again. Shift G, Shift R. So these are rulers. These lines are rulers. This inside one is the grid. So to turn on and off grids, Shift G. To turn on and off your rulers, Shift R. That's basically. So what you have now is something we can work with. So let's just create Should we create it here? Let's just drag. I'm not going to spend too much time creating this thing, creating my navbar. So I'm just going to drag this navbar here, Control C, and paste it here so we can get to the animation part. So the navbar, for the navbar, I'm also trying to like make the elements. What I'm just trying to explain is that I'm trying to make the elements sit on the grid as well. However, I still like leave some extra spacing. So that navbar, there's the rules. They are not really too much like that. You can play around with what you want to achieve. So that's that. So let's, for the color, I can actually go with black and white, but then let's explore a bit of color. I'm trying to like bring more colors because I'm too monotonous when it comes to like color use. So I want to try to imbibe using more colors in my design. So for this particular design, I think I got my colors was like I got inspired from an image. So you can actually go through lots of websites to get your inspiration. You can choose to use these colors, the color scheme of this website. That's entirely up to you. Colors are under entirely different what's it called, area aspect of design. You can go into exploring that. But me personally, what I try to do to help me with my color use, I try to copy colors. I try to copy colors from other designs, I see. So there's one color scheme I saw. What is this called? What's the name? Kolakpo Oni. So Kolakpo Oni is a designer, Nigerian designer currently at Flutterwave. So the guy does creative design as well, and I really like his work, and I like his color use on the website. So Kolakpo Oni, you can check him on Twitter. So I think his website is called thecolorpod.com. So let me copy and paste in the chat as well in case you need to find thecolorpod.com. So let's see his website and let's see his color. So you can see like he uses like what's it called, this orange, this dark orange, and then this here this lighter orange as well. So you can actually like explore his color use and see how it can. Although this is not where I got mine from, but then I noticed like it related. So yeah, that's something I can do. So what I can do is like you can just grab this color. What I can do is I can screenshot it. Screenshot and then paste in my design. Paste desktop. Come on, where did you go to? Okay. So I've pasted in my design. I can just come from here, click on my design, and pick this color, pick this background color, and then for my text, I can pick for my text. I don't want everything to be like that. So this yellow, you can see that the yellow is using this like lighter. It's not yellow, but this lighter orange yellow to highlight elements. So you can see for the maybe like the text. So let's see for the text, for the button rather, to highlight the button. Okay. And also let's make the text black 000. Okay. And then we're going to make the we're going to just highlight this front end as well, just to like have some interesting factor to our design, and easy to highlight the front end as well. So yeah, like this, let's turn off grades. So Shift arrow, Shift G, and to see our design, you can see like it looks okay. It looks cool actually. It's not just okay. It looks cool. I actually like the layout. So we don't necessarily have to like go the route that I went with my own design. We can actually go with this one. So you can see how I copy people's colors. I use that designer's colors to like to make my own color scheme. However, if I want to change color scheme, it's going to be easy for me. What I can do, one trick I can use is just to click on my design, and then this particular color. So I'm going to go to selection colors. The difference between going to fill color and selection colors is that selection colors changes colors for your design globally. In case you're not familiar with it, change your colors for design globally. So let's change the color here. So let's select the orange, the dark orange, and then just slide. You can just slide like this. Okay, we can just slide across our design. So I think this blue looks interesting. This purple blue looks interesting. However, I'm going to go back to that one, but then I'm just showing you like how I can actually like play around with color schemes and everything. So I can slide. I'm not going to change. You can see I'm not changing anything here, any parameter here. I like this dark tone, so I'm just going to like slide across my design to find something that also looks good as well. Okay, let's leave this bluish sort of, and then let's also select the this on the selection color panel. You can select the the yellow as well, and also slide to the blue to somewhere that's close to the blue section. Yeah, something that's close to the blue section, because if you realize this guy's two colors actually like are from the same color palette. So I'm going to select the blue section, so it has something that's more pronounced, that's more highlighting, that has more highlights to it. So yeah, you can see that there's this color harmony. However, color harmony is like another entire different aspect of design. You can go into exploring and learning more about. So you can also use tools like Adobe.color in case you don't really know what colors can actually go well together, because these colors go well together, and I'm familiar with color harmony bits, so I can tell that this color actually work. But if you're not, you can always like in case you needed like colors to go with, if you had only this blue to work with, in case you need more colors to match it, you can just copy the color code, go to colors or adobe.com, Yep. So come on, open. So give it 1 second to open, and once it opens up, what I can do is just to paste my color here, paste the color I copied here, paste it here, and it's going to like have generated what's called analogous colors for me. I can also go to, if I want what's called a complementary, I think I normally go for split complementary or so. I can actually like just pick around, I just play around with analogous and whatever you want in here that you think fits your design best. So I can actually pick this particular one here if I wanted to pick it. Sorry. Oh boy. Change my my light blue to 8. Okay, I think it works, but let's see. And also go to like, I cannot move here and go to choose the lighter version of it, just so it stands out on the design. So this is how like you play with that color harmony and stuff like that. So that's basically that. Let's not spend too much time doing that. So I'm going to use like the basic color. I like this base color. I like the base color. It looks okay. However, what I would do personally if I wanted to do is to like increase the saturation. This saturation. The terms are not really familiar with them. I'm just familiar with concept, but not terms of this particular yellow here. So I'm just going to increase it. I'm going to slide it up a bit. Yep. So it like has more contrast. So there's more contrast for accessibility purposes. In as much as we're trying to like do a creative website that's not really like bound by the rules of accessibility, I also still try to like bring accessibility into it, because whatever you're learning in one design, you try to like whatever thing you learn in one design, you like apply across your design. So that's why I'm trying to like do that. So this color code. So to also get my black, so by default, I don't know if you are familiar with this design principle. Then if you want to use black, I don't use 000. By default, the black I'm using is the 00. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change all of them to like a black that fits more with my design. So what I'm going to do is to go to selection colors, select all the 000 that's here, and then I can select I can choose my background color. So just watch what I'm going to do. So choose my background color, and then I'm going to slide I'm going to come here and then slide this circle down to the dark part of it, to the dark part of that color. So I'm going to like be getting like a very very dark shade of this background, of this original, of this my major brand color. So that's what I'm trying to do here, not using black. So I'm just going to slide it down and make sure that I'm choosing like something that's dark enough. So I'm not choosing, this is 000, this one here is 000, anything at the bottom is 000. But then you don't want that, you want something that's like not too dark, that's dark but also not too dark as well. So I'm going to be for my black, for my design, not 000, not total black. So yeah, that's and the next thing I'm going to do is just change all this these red ones, they're not meant to be red, so they're meant to like be placeholder. So now I can start like adding my image. So I can add the image. To add an image, just the image I'm going to be using, because I like that particular image, is this guy's image. What's his name again? What's his name again? Sorry, I'm trying to remember his name. I'll remember in a moment. Oh shit, I forgot. Yeah, Moritz Peterson. Peterson.com. So I'm going to share his link. I'm using the image because it does not have any background. That's why and I like the way it's looking directly at the camera. So I'm just going to capture save image as. Okay, that's saved. So let me paste the link for his website in the chat so you can see. Okay, and now I'm going to just go to downloads and place in my design. So I want to place outside first so I can shrink to my direct, although I would probably love to like take out the background, but I don't think I have the time for that. So let's place in my design. So another thing you can also play with here is, so I'm going to increase, and then I'm going to turn on clip content for my design, so it clips this thing. So what I want to do now is also I want to play with this thing, blending mode. Yeah, blending mode. So instead of pass through, I'm going to go to multiply. So let's multiply. However, this background is not meant to be red. It's meant to be like, let's do the background color here. Yeah, so let's just go with this background color here for the design entirely. Let's not like do any fancy stuff. So let's just go with this background design here. Okay, have it like this. And the next thing I want to do instead is to I think I want to play around with this thing as well. I want to also remove the background. So let's run that to remove background. So remove background. Okay, remove background. So while that is running, let's try to do some other stuff as well. Okay, so yeah, let's try to get to the animation part. So basically, to do the animation part, I'm going to like just try to like do some really basic stuff. I have talked about animating text before, before. So the next thing I want to do is to have this text. I want to first of all frame it. So you see this particular text here. I'm selecting the text. I'm going to like frame it. So I'm going to frame the text so I can actually like use the text as the frame as my what do you call that thing again? Oh, I've forgotten. I'm going to use the frame as my mask. Yeah, as my mask. So yeah, I'm going to first of all group selection. Before I frame, I'm going to group selection because for a reason. So I'm going to group selection, and then I'm going to select the text. Make sure the text selected, the creative text selected, and then I'm going to run this plugin called what's the plugin called again? Nisa Text. I think it's called Nisa Text. So Nisa Text. So you can see this text, Nisa Text. Run it, and then open the UI because there's tons of options. Open the UI. Open the UI. Okay, open the UI. So once it's open, you can select your text. You want to because I want to break the text apart. I want them to animate it differently. So I want to break it apart. So I'm going to run the text. I'm going to select this last option. This what's called split a word. So I'm going to select split a word. So it's going to split the words. So like this now, the words are actually like one letters each, like different separate letters. They are not one. It will save me the time of having to like break them by myself. So I'm just going to. However, once this does that, I notice that like there's like this extra spacing that's added to the design, but that's fine. I can just remove the extra space by doing reducing spacing here to reducing the spacing here to -2 or something. So the -2 is fine, I guess. You might not need to do that if you in your case, but me personally, I just like to do it. So I'm going to group this text as well, and then split it into this thing. Okay, select the text. Make sure the text is selected, and then split a word option. So split a word. So like these, they are individual letters. I'm going to reduce the spacing to -2. You might not want to reduce spacing. That's totally fine. That's totally up to you to decide. So that's done, and then I want to do this last one again for the developer. Group it, select the text, and then split a word. Oh boy, that did not work. Oh boy. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to have like fallback. So I'm going to do this one here. Okay, so I'm going to group it, select the text, split a word. Why is it breaking apart? Why please don't break apart. Okay, let's split it again, and then let's frame it instead of grouping it. Frame, and then I'm going to split a word. Yep, so that worked. Instead of group, I framed it instead, and it worked. So -2. So these groups now have grouped before. I think groups I should have framed it from the beginning. So I'm going to frame them instead. So convert the frame to from the group, convert the group to frame. So frame. So I'm going to call this one. Just name it creative. Name this one front end, or just name it anything really. Mid, and select the what's called the group of the front end, and convert it to a frame. So you can change from group to frame, and change the name to anything. You can change the name to anything. I'm just changing the name for posterity's sake. Front end. Okay. Developer is already a frame, so I'm just going to rename it to developer. Cool. That's done. So like this, I have each multicode text as individual letters because I use that plugin to like break them apart. But if you have the time and energy, you can start doing them by yourself. But I don't have that time. So yeah, let's do this. I use that plugin to ease my work. So I also want to make sure that for all my text, for all the frames that contain my text, I have clip content turned off, because what you want to do is like have the text like move down like this and come up. So I want to turn on that clip content just to make sure that it's not so that whatever is going outside is invisible, it's cropping. So that's what you want to do. So however, for some reason, for the frame also crops because some of the text actually like go outside, so you can see that the frame is cropping this, or it's not really looking good. So what I want to do is to increase the frame height. I can tamper with the frame height, but that's before I do that, I'm going to turn off auto layout first, because if I increase it without turning off auto layout, it's going to like mess up my design. So turn off auto layout, and then increase the line height of the frame to allow for the extra stuff. So to do that, I'm going to just hold command and drag up a bit just to touch the last letter. Let's just give you one more room, and then even at the bottom as well, zoom in to make sure you are this thing. So this does not affect the original grid we actually set up, but then this is just for you for animation purposes. So I'm going to also do the same for here, but turn off auto layout for this group so it doesn't mess up my design. But if you're not using auto layout, it's good and fine. It doesn't affect you at all. So zoom in, allow for more room. Okay, That's done. For this last one as well, same thing, just so there's no cropping, just like give extra spacing so it doesn't crop your text. Zoom in, allow for my space. So yeah, that's all. So what I just did, I'm going to also turn on click content as well for this one. Turn on click content, click on turn on. Okay, cool, that's fine. So that's cool. So now we have that. Let's not really stretch it too much. Let's not stretch it too much. Our time is almost up. So our image has already finished copying. So just copy it and then paste it here. I'm going to expand just to allow for, just to make sure that is cropped hand is not showing. So basically you don't want all these kind of crop sections here showing up in your design. You want it to like be outside of frame, because it makes your design look unprofessional. That's just what you want to do as well. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Yeah, so you also want to I want to play around with, like I said, I want to play around with blending mode just to like have a fancy effect to my design. So yeah, just going to play around. Whatever is fine by you, really. Whatever is fine by you. In my initial. Sorry. Okay. So let's go for multiply. Multiply is fine. Multiply is fine. So I'm going to also increase the size of the image. Okay, and this works. Doesn't have to be exactly like our old design, but this works. So what I want to do now is this one I don't really need it again, because like I've made like changes that I cannot go back and make it on the other. So I want to Multicode, duplicate this one into 2, and here what I want to do now is I want to select, first of all, select the creative, click on it, click on the creative frame, click on it to select all the text inside, all the Multicode letters inside of it, and then move it down out of the frame. So I want to be showing what I'm doing. However, I don't know what the best way is. Okay, sorry, 1 second. Okay, so select all the text, move them out of the frame. Okay, and then I'm going to select this. I'm going to from the layers panel, because I already know what I'm doing, but I'm not sure what I did. But I'm going to select deselect the C. I'm going to select this. Okay, make sure the C has out of frame totally. I'm going to select the C, and then while holding shift and I'm using down button, I'm going to like move it 1 2. So that's 20 pixels. That's 20 steps away from where the C was, and then I'm going to select the arrow 1 2. That's 20 extra steps away from the end. So select the E 1 2, select the A 1 2, select the T. I'm going to show what I'm doing in a moment, like that. Okay, so copy paste. So I just want to show what I've done. So you can see now what I've done. I've staggered the text, just to make sure that once it's animating, the thing animates and it has like this one goes first, this one goes second, this one goes third, and like that, just like that, they come to frame like that. So that's what I'm trying to do in this design here. So the next thing is just to like have this, do the same thing for this front end as well. Same thing for the front end. So select the front end, press enter, select all the text out of it, and then move out of frame. 1 2, okay, and then arrow, okay, sorry, select F, arrow, select O 1 2, N 1 2, just to stagger the animation, make the animation just feel nice. And it doesn't want everything to come at once. That's why I'm trying to like do like that. So move all of them, even including the developer as well. Okay, so developer 1 2 1 2 1 2. I'm holding shift 1 2. But you can move as much as you want, just to have like a different effect. You can do whatever you want with yours. It's totally up to you to what you want to do with yours. So this one, what I'm going to do as well for this one, I think I want to make it also come from the bottom as well. So I'm going to click content for the frame that's containing it's inside. I'll move to the bottom as well. So yep. So you can see how we have this frame set up, and this one I want to also let's for this section I want to make it like big. I want to make it big, so that once it comes into frame, it's like it settles into it, like shrinks into frame and settles into frame. So, and also move it down maybe just to like have still some fancy animation. Move it to the side a bit. Like it's up to you, entirely up to you, whatever you want to achieve with this design. So I'm going to like make it like turn the opacity to 0. So that's done. Just so it has. So this one I don't really have time to like break this text apart. However, if I had the time, I'll probably want to like make this text like not to come out like letter by letter, but break it into like section by section, like line by line, so that the lines come out differently. That's what I would have done in this section. But you can use this plugin to do that. So you can just come here, run the plugin, So let me group them first. You have to frame them first, frame them, and then you run the plugin. Okay, run the plugin, this app plugin, UI, and then you can split. You can see what's it called, split into rows. Okay, that did not work. That did not work. So let's not even spend time doing that. But you can just play around with the plugin chat and see what effect it gives you. So what you can do for the text is just to like move it to the bottom a bit, I guess. The bottom a bit, it's not really look good. It's not look good. So let's just turn that opacity instead and have it like that. Turn that opacity for these ones as well, and then link them back together. Link them together. So link them together. Link them together. So on click, I'm going to use on click just to see how it works first, and then I'm going to change from instance to smart animate so that it actually animates between both things. So I'm going to increase the time to something like 1,200 milliseconds. So like it's slow and smooth. So that's what I want to have. So ease out, I think ease out is okay for the animation. So let's play it and see what we have here. We have only 5 minutes left, but let's see what we can do. We are almost done either way. So yeah, so this is the empty state. So if we click on it, so you can see how it actually like what's it called comes with you. However, I can see like a mistake I have made initially. I can spot mistakes I can have. So here, I just do here is just like start spotting mistakes and going back to fix them. So just move this one back to here, just so it goes back. Like I'm not really particular about the animation here. I think I want to make it instant, so you can move back fast. Like no, let's leave it like that, so we can see the animation as it goes back. So yeah, you can see how it moves into view and moves out of view. So the issue I have, if you watch this particular what's it called red rectangle, just watch it. You will see that it doesn't like disappear. It actually like fades. It just has like this effect that those other ones do not have. What I want to do is to go and turn on. What the issue here is that here clip content is not turned on. So just turn on clip content here. So because so you're going to see like it comes out better. So you can see that it comes out. It actually disappears into like this as non-existent space. So that's what you want to like have for this particular effect. So with that out of the way, I believe that I'll be able to like show how I used to like achieve this staggered text animation inside of Figma, and also like what's it called, also use like grids to set up like an interesting layout. So yeah, I think we're able to like still actually go along. So what I would personally do if I want to do more was, like I said, break this text into like into lines. So in case you want to like do yours, you can actually go ahead and break your own into like lines, break them into like one line. Use that plugin, try the options, break to one line, then what's it called, frame the lines, and then turn on what's it called, just like you did for this particular one. Use the same logic I use for this text for this one as well, and that's just going to be all that you need to do to like make your design like feel more mature and feel more like all these modern what's it called word inside. So that's basically all for today's design session. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask, because this is like this design. Jesus Christ. Whew. Yeah. So it's crazy, but sorry, I was just speaking without I'm so sorry. I didn't know when I was logged out of the meeting, but that's so sorry. I told you that the meeting before. So like I said, I've been able to like, I don't know if you saw it, but then what we've been able to achieve is like I have the like I said, this meeting is being recorded, so you're going to like see the effect, even though you were not able to catch up because I was logged out of the meeting. You're going to be able to see it inside of the inside of the recording, which I will upload on Sunday or so. So if you want to find the recording, just go on YouTube and make sure and search for Emission Victor. You're going to find the channel. I'm going to upload on YouTube, so you're going to see like how I was able to achieve all these things. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in the DMs or on Twitter or wherever. Really, I'm going to always respond and help you out as best as I can. However, let me also share the link to this design as well, so you can actually go through and mess around in case you need to like do stuff. So yeah, the link is in the chat in case you need it. So that's basically all. Feel free to ask any questions. If not, we're done with this meeting, and yeah. Okay, in the absence of no questions, I'll assume we're done with today's meeting, and I appreciate you guys for coming. Thank you all. And sorry I went out of the meeting without knowing that I was out of the meeting. But yeah, I assume that next meeting will be better. So yeah, have fun, and if you have any questions, feel free to chat with me anytime. Thank you, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.